And we're also doubly excited to welcome Vanessa Davidson, all the way from South Africa. She's the Special Project Manager of Sadanha Industrial Bay Area in Cape Coast, South Africa. We consider shipbuilding and ship repair an investment issue, which require deliberate government intervention in the area of support and interventions for shipyards. We are pleased to welcome Adeshina Emmanuel, who is the Director of Investment Promotions at the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. He is to throw some light on what the Nigerian government is doing to support shipyards. Unfortunately, the Honorable Minister of Investment, Trade and Industry is unable to join us today as planned. We received a message that he is, at this moment, representing the Vice President of Nigeria at another function. In an effort to attract and stimulate ship repair business in Nigeria, in 2018, the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, NIMASA, bought a modular floating dock, which is currently lying at the Naval Dockyard. We are pleased to welcome Augustine Imomo, who is the Assistant Director of Shipping Promotion at NIMASA, to bring us up to speed as to how the maritime industry intends to gain from this floating dock and why this solid investment has not been deployed since it arrived in Nigeria from Damen shipyards. One of the lesser known functions of the National Inland Waterways Authority is that it is the regulatory body in charge of shipyards in Nigeria. We are pleased to welcome Engineer Joseph Ororo, who is the General Manager of Marine at NIWA, to throw some light on NIWA's functions as regards the regulations of shipyards. It promises to be an interesting session. The rapporteur is Kashima Chumba, who is a partner at Foundation Chambers, one of the leading maritime law firms in Nigeria. She will be summarizing the proceedings, today's proceedings, and then she will draw up the communique. The Maritime Business Roundtable, this Maritime Business Roundtable is oversubscribed. We have registered delegates from all over the world, spanning Bangladesh, Burkina Faso, Cameroon, Ghana, Greece, Namibia, Nigeria, Turkey, South Africa, Uganda, and Finland. There are many more, but these are the ones that I recognize from the emails that we saw. So we're excited to welcome everyone from all over the world, wherever you are. I now call on the rapporteur, Kashimana Zumba Esquire, to read out the modus operandi of this event and to present the lead panelist and focal point to make her presentation. Kashimana, please.
Thank you very much, everyone. We're really happy to have you here. We're delighted that you signed up for the Maritime Breakfast. I'm thankful to our speakers and our industry experts for honoring our invitation. So I'm just going to go straight into the housekeeping rules for the day. I'm going to read that out so that we know how to get the best out of this program. The webinar function restricts the attendee to view on function, though they can send questions and chats. So there's going to be a chat box. There is a chat box if you look at the bottom of your screen where you can send in your questions. The panelists should please have their videos on and their mics on when they are speaking. Other panelists not speaking should kindly mute their mics so that we don't have any interference and we can hear everyone clearly. Attendees and participants will at some point see a poll come up on their screen. Kindly answer the questions put there to help quality control of this program. Any disconnected panelists should please endeavor to reconnect We understand that sometimes there can be internet disruptions. Please don't quit on the panel if you get disconnected. Please connect back again. There will be a plenary session after all the presentations. And in that session, everyone will be able to ask their questions during this plenary session. So just be patient till we get to that point of the event so that you can ask. Attendees can request to be allowed to talk if they prefer to ask their questions in person. So even though we have a Q&A section, if you'd rather ask in person, just indicate that in the chat box. At the end of the event, attendees will be allowed to use their mics and videos to network with other panelists and attendees. So at this point, I'm just going to hand over back to Mrs. Edodo-Emoren to declare the session open.
Okay, thank you very much. The session is actually open now. And the first item on the agenda is the presentation by Oluseye Oluyide, the Managing Director of Niger Benue Transport Company Limited. Madam Rapporteur, if you would kindly read out the citation of the Managing Director before she makes her presentation.
Okay. 1 second, please. My internet is... Okay, so I would like to read out the profile of Mrs. Oluseye Oluyede. Mrs. Oluseye Oluyede is the Managing Director of Niger Benue Transport Company, MBTC Warri, one of the pioneer maritime logistics companies and shipyards in Nigeria, established in 1959. It was established before independence. She's a fellow of the Institute of Management Consultants. She's a certified management consultant. She's a member of the Strategic Institute of Management, a member of Women in Shipping and Transport Association, WISTA, and a member of the Sectorial Working Group, Nigerian Content Consultative Forum. She holds a Bachelor's of Science degree in economics from the University of Ilorin and a master's degree from the Obafemi Awolowo University. She's a business leader with extensive experience in strategic operational business planning and management, change management, and team leadership. She's the lead speaker and the focal point of this event. Join me as we welcome Mrs. Oluseye Oluyede.
Good morning, everybody. I hope you can all hear me.
Yes, we can. We can hear you. And you have 10 minutes
Good
to
morning.
make the presentation.
Okay, good morning, everybody. I mean, it's such a delight to be here, to be part of this event, to address that in the industry that is very dear to our hearts. Without further ado, I'll just go ahead and share my presentation and would move to it. Oh, okay, so the theme of this Maritime Business Roundtable is shipbuilding and ship repair as a tool for national transformation. And it's not gainsay that the world economy rides on the seas. Everybody knows that trade is all trade. 80% of international trade is seaborne. And therefore, it is said by the statistics that 8 billion tons, that is 17 times more than what was traded in 1950, is what is being moved on by water. Between 2000 and 2008, seaborne trade grew at 5% annually. And this is due to growth in the population and, of course, emerging new economies. So it has been predicted that by 2060, the growth in sea trade would increase at the rate of 2.4% per annum, which means 23 billion tons by the year 2060. This means that the shipbuilding and ship repair industry could be the catalyst for industrialization and transformation of any economy that chooses to hold it there to its heart. And this would definitely have spin-offs on all other industries. As we all know, the shipbuilding and repair industry are industry comprised of that have established and engaged primarily in operating the shipyards, having their facilities with dry docks and fabrication of all other equipment. So our activities in the shipbuilding and ship repair industry include construction, ship repair, ship construction, alterations, and other specialized services, such as fabrication, assembling, and the likes. This industry, the shipbuilding and ship repair industry, directly supports a lot of activities and indirectly supports so many activities. For example, you have the fishing industry where you have to build the fishing trawlers and all. You have the oil and gas, for which most of the things that are being used there are conveyed by water. We need the ships for the trade, for movement back and forth on the international waters. The port operation, the economy of the port operation is totally reliant on the ship in repair and building industry. And of course, this industry creates a lot of jobs. So therefore, it is of very strategic economic importance in terms of building the country's GDP, employment generation, and has its own ripple effects on all other sectors in the world economies. I mean, if you take examples from Korea, you take examples from Singapore, from Japan, even from Malaysia, India, and Indonesia, you would see the kind of effect that the shipbuilding has had on the economy of those countries. The shipbuilding and ship repair industry has a whole lot of industries that are attached to it. So, for example, you have the marine equipment manufacturing, which essentially are things that have to do with the building of vessels and maintenance of vessels that are directly related to it. So you take, for instance, steel production and aluminum production. You take the engines manufacturers, chemical products, electricals and electronics. You also have the propulsion systems from which the ship has to be able to work very well, and then the various outfittings of ship owners and the ship operators have. Those are the people who do the marine logistics and transportation. The fishing industries, the oil and gas, operators, tourism and leisure, and of course, security and defense. Another economic group that is directly linked to the shipbuilding and ship repair industry is the support group, which we would categorize as the financial institutions, the banks, the insurance companies. You also have the government, which, I mean, without the government and government cooperation, the industry would not be able to move. So you have the regulatory bodies, for which we have the likes of NIMASA. You have the Ministry of Trade, which controls the trade in Nigeria. You have the government regulatory policies on maritime. Say these are direct linkages to the shipbuilding and ship repair industry. Now, what is the impact of the shipbuilding and ship repair industry in general terms. So you have the direct impact, which of course relates to people that are employed in the ship repair industry and shipbuilding industry. Those are impacts that can be felt immediately. You also have the indirect impacts. These are industries that are linked to this are linked. Without this industry, they might not be able to provide some of the services. And of course, you have the induced impacts, which is a ripple effect from all these industries, people that are employed in these subsectors, and the ripple effect they have on the economy of their macro environment. So I would say that, and I believe we all know that the shipbuilding and ship repair industry is a strategic industry capable of commanding high economic growth, generating income, and adding value for national transformation. Now, I will now narrow it down to the dynamics of the shipbuilding and ship repair industry in Nigeria. One thing we find about this industry is that it is quite labor dependent. It is, you need a lot of, it is labor intensive. A lot of things that we do are quite very labor intensive. Then in Nigeria, we rely completely on the global supply chain for raw materials. This makes the industry very, here in this country, we also lack some form of technological leadership, because technology, as you see, it's now very important in moving things forward. So there's that lack of technological leadership in Nigeria when it comes to the shipbuilding and ship repair industry. There is also the high operating cost due to the traditional ways of work. There is the existence of the automation industry, which as time goes on, those are things that need to be addressed for us to be able to harness the profits or the benefits of it being a catalyst. You also have the economic instability. This affects long-term investments. I mean, anybody that wants to invest in the shipbuilding and ship repair industry would want to be assured that whatever investment is put in would he or she, would have the return on that investment. And you have the issue of market instability, especially for the ship directly linked to the oil industry. So the decline in oil prices, COVID, and all that has affected and has caused some form of market instability to this industry. Now, what I would do is to compare Nigeria in terms of our shipping policy, shipbuilding policy with Korea. Korea is the leader, although it seems like China is now taking up to 1955.
Well, it appears that Mrs. Oyedele faced some challenges there. She appeared to have gone off the air. Okay, I think that what we would I think that what we will do is just proceed, because actually at this moment her initial 10 minutes is now actually up. So we would move on to the next presentation, and she will join us later. She would have another time to make further presentation at the end of.
Hello.
Hello, Shay. You went off the air.
Hello. Okay.
Hello.
Yes, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, can I continue?
Yes, but can you just round up?
Can I continue?
Yes, you can, but your initial 10 minutes is actually over now. So just round up, and then you know that we shall come back to you again. So your first 10 minutes.
Okay, so I was comparing the.
Finish with this slide, and then we would go on to the next presentation.
Oh, okay. So I was comparing with Nigeria with the Korean in shipbuilding policy, and to see how they have taken leadership and how they arrived at where they are now in terms of shipbuilding and ship repair. I mean, we'll take it up from there by the time we have an open discussion, since the time is up.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sheyi. It's a wonderful presentation, and I'd like to tell all the participants that at the end of the session, we're going to send all of these presentations to all registered participants in addition to the communique. So even if a presentation is not finished in this session, Kole Muyoba, the acting Chief Executive Officer of Namibia Dockyard. Madam Rapporteur, kindly read out Madam Muyoba's citation.
Thank you very much. So Henry Nankole Muyoba is the acting managing director and CEO of the Namibian Dry Dock. She was the chairperson of Women in Maritime in Eastern and Southern Africa, Namibian chapter, from 2009 to 2012. She served as a human resource executive in the Namibian Ports Authority. She also takes a keen interest in education and is the founding trustee and deputy chairperson of the Zambezi Education Fund. She studied at the University of Cape Town and holds an MPhil in people management. Join me as I welcome Henritha Nankole Muyoba.
Thank you very much. So, Henritha.
Yes, good morning, everyone, and thank you very much for the nice citation from the organizers. Once again, it's, can I share my? I'm trying to share my presentation. I'm not sure why. Okay. Okay, so good morning, everyone. I'm glad to participate in this roundtable discussion. I'm representing Namibia, and more so the shipyard in Walfish Bay. So the brief that I was given was to look at the government's role in the growth and development of shipyards and ship repair facilities in Namibia. I'll also share with you how did we grow from a young ship repair facilities that started in 2006 to where we are today, our vision, and then also I'll also touch base in terms of the financing as far as ship repair and shipbuilding is concerned in Namibia. And then I'll share a bit of what we are doing in our community where we save. And I'm also, I think I'm going to share a bit also as far as collaboration is concerned between the Namibian ship repairs and the Nigerian ship repairs facilities. So what is the government role in ship repair and shipbuilding in Namibia? So from the onset, if you look on your left-hand side, you see that is our national coat of arms. So government said in 2005 and directed that we need to create a ship repair facilities in Namibia. You will also notice that the Namibia Port Authority, which is the regulator in Namibia as far as port operations is concerned, is 100% owned by government. In return, the Port Authority owns 52.5% of the shipyard. So indirectly, we are owned by government, as we say. So the government has got an active role, although much of their role is to create an environment where the ship repair and facilities can function well. So they do create the policies, like my colleague from Nigeria have said, and then more so your customs, your immigration, and it's very simple to start a business in Namibia. So as a ship repair, we are a PTY limited, so we are a company. So we are treated as such. So the government is indirectly managing or running the ship repairs in Namibia. So our mandate was to open the ship repair facilities, and we were expected to create jobs. 2006, the main aim of creating the ship repair in Namibia was to create jobs. And based on that, I think that's why the shareholders have not taken a single cent from the business since 2006. So whatever we have generated in the business have sort of replanted into the business moving forward. So our vision is to win sustainably in the marketplace based on the triple P concept, which is performance, or you might refer to it as a profit, people, and planet. We do not want to create a situation where we find ourselves wanting, because of our environmental errors that we are doing, to the future generation. So through our inspirational transformation and participating leadership, we are people-focused organization, and we also use our teams. Our core competency is our teams, our people, because the most resources that a shipyard can have is its people and the facilities. But we rely more on our skills and competencies that we have in the shipyard. So where did we come from and how did we come to where we are? So we started, as I said, 2005, the government, the parliament says, create a shipyard. And that's where we started now in 2006. In 2007, we received our first floating dock, which we call NAMDOC number 1. And then we started, which was operational in 2007. And then we moved, if you look at the evolution, to a place where we are, to a stage where we are, that eventually we obtained our Panamax NAMDOC number 3 in 2013. Those are our core core infrastructure that we have. Of course, we have workshops that's where we do our repairs to the equipment. The question that was raised to me was that, do we have a funding as far as ship repairs and shipbuilding in Namibia is concerned? The answer is no, because the ship repairs in Namibia is seen as any other business. So the people who are investing in this business have to use their own funding. So they have to borrow money or they have to put their equity so that we create a ship repair business. So it's any other business. You put your equity, you put your capital. So in this case, the Port Authority has put money into the business, and the private sector has also put money into the business. So that's what has enabled us to start the business. So we do not have a special fund managing this industry in Namibia. As far as community service is concerned, we have been all over the show, from education, sports, community, and creating other business. As my colleague from Nigeria have said, the ship repair cannot exist without the support from other organizations around the shipyard. So all in all, we have 92 companies that are depending on the operations of the shipyard in Namibia. Part of the 92 companies, 2 of them are SME that were formed from the previous employees that were working for the shipyard. So we believe that we have a responsibility to ensure that we operate sustainably, because if we close offices, we have over 3,000 employees and families that are reliant on our business. We have further invested our resources in terms of money in COVID. We all know the impact of COVID on the national economy. So we have created our own care center, and we have also communicated to state facilities as far as upgrading of the facilities are concerned. And we believe that if we do not do that, the impact of COVID would have been much, much worse than what we have experienced so far. So that is what we are doing. We are very, very engaged with the community where we find ourselves. We have a good relationship with government, good relationship with the national, regional, and local authorities within Namibia. So if there is any ship repair kind of challenge that is the government is experience, we are almost the first stop and say, how do we advise government? So we have that advisory role and very close relationship with national government, regional government, and local government. What are the possible areas where we can collaborate between Namibian and Nigerian shipyard? We believe that being the fastest growing economy on the continent, we can look at skills development. We can also share ideas in terms of what is the best practice from Nigeria and what is the best practice from Namibia. At the end of the day, I believe that we need to do a proper competitive analysis between the two countries, because we enjoy good diplomatic relationship between Nigeria and Namibia. We both have high commissions in Namibia, and we also have high commission in Nigeria. So I think we need to use that relationship that we have to ensure that we share the competitiveness that each country and company has moving forward. So in conclusion, that is our pride, and those are our facilities in Namibia. So if Nigeria has too many projects and they cannot sustain the projects, you have a sister company here in Southwest Africa, in Walvis Bay, to ensure that we do repairs on your behalf. So we are a bit smaller than Nigeria, but we are highly, highly competitive, because 95% of our business is international. 5% of what we are doing is for Namibia because of the nature of the business that we are doing. And by doing so, the economic rip-off of the business on the economy is that we are adding at least about 1.5 billion in the national economy every year, in terms of every dollar that a client is spending in the shipyard. We are seeing $2.5 or even a $3 spent into the national economy. This is to confirm what my colleague from Nigeria was saying in terms of the economic impact of the ship repairs and shipbuilding on the national economy. Thank you very much, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We're so proud of what you're doing in Namibia, and I'm sure we're going to take advantage of the opportunities there and collaborate to do things together. So we now go to the third presentation, and that would be the presentation of the Naval Dockyard. The Admiral Superintendent of the Naval Dockyard is represented at this event by Commodore Mike Igwe. Madam Rapporteur, kindly read out the citation of Commodore Igwe before he comes to center stage.
Thank you very much. Commodore Michael Igwe was admitted into NDA, the Nigerian Defense Academy, where he obtained a bachelor's degree in electrical electronics engineering. He holds a master's degree in public administration from the University of Calabar and a second master's degree in strategic studies from the University of Ibadan. Commodore Michael Igwe has served in different units and held several appointments. These include Head Nigeria COSPAS SASAT Mission Control Center, National Emergency Management Agency. He was the GM Plans Naval Shipyard Limited, as well as Command Fleet Maintenance Officer at the Headquarters Logistics Command. Others are, he was the Deputy Director Technical Naval Doctrine and Assessment Center, and he's currently the GM Production Arsenal at the Naval Dockyard Limited. Commodore Igwe is decorated with the Distinguished Service Star, the Meritorious Service Star, amongst many other medals. Join me as I welcome Commodore Igwe.
Thank you very much.
Please. And you have 10 minutes.
I hope you can hear me very well.
Yes.
Okay.
You have 10
Thank
minutes.
you. Thank you very much. I'm going to give you a brief presentation on our activities in Naval Dockyard Limited. As you all are aware, the Naval Dockyard Limited is a shipbuilding facility for the As you all are aware, the Naval Dockyard Limited is a shipbuilding facility for the Nigerian Navy and Nigeria in general. The battle to use massive resources of the sea Sorry, 1 minute. My screen is obscured. Just give me 1 second. I need to adjust the screen. The battle to use the massive resources of the sea while denying the adversary access to the same led to building of both merchant and naval ships as far back as 2500 BC. Shipbuilding is the construction of ships and other floating vessels. It normally takes place in a specialized facility known as a shipyard. Shipbuilding and ship repairs, both commercial and military, are referred to as naval engineering. The first 2 ocean-going vessels were built by the Austronesian people. These are the pictures. These are the list of some coastal countries in the world, which you all are aware. Even some countries in Asian continent with less number of big and complex shipyards than Europe have improved on their shipbuilding capability and productivity. On the other hand, same cannot be said of Nigeria and African nations. In Africa, shipbuilding and repair is still at its infancy, creating a major gap in industrial development. Egypt is in the forefront of shipbuilding in Africa as an early starter. Evidence from ancient Egypt shows that the early Egyptians knew how to assemble planks of wood into a ship hull as early as 3100 BC. Now to the history of Naval Dockyard Limited acquisition and development. Anyway, let me not bother you with that. And let me go to the primary objective of Naval Dockyard Limited, which is to enhance Nigeria's self-reliance in the maintenance of naval and merchant vessels, develop expertise, and embark on design and building of ships and craft in support of the nation's development. This brings me to the aim of this presentation, which is to appraise the existing Naval Dockyard Limited's capacity as shipbuilding in Nigeria. In order to achieve this, I will look at the organization, facilities, activities, achievements of NDL in the area of shipbuilding challenges and prospects. I will, however, the Naval Dockyard Limited is headed by Rear Admiral K.G. Levy, who is the Admiral Superintendent. He is responsible to the Board of Directors of Naval Dockyard Limited, which is chaired by the Group Managing Director, Navy Holdings Limited. The board provides vision for Naval Dockyard Limited to ensure realization of set objectives, guarantee the security of investment, and ensure adherence to Naval Dockyard Limited policies. This is the organogram of the Naval Dockyard. These are the number of officers. Naval Dockyard have military officers, military ratings, civilians that are employed by Minister of Defense, civilians that are employed by Naval Dockyard. We have youth corps members and some other students on industrial training, as shown on the screen. Now, a look at our facilities. Naval Dockyard Limited have docks, workshops, and yard service centers. In terms of docks, the Naval Dockyard Limited have a main graving dock, twin docks, and floating dock. This is the picture of the main graving dock. It has a dimension of 180 meters by 24 meter by 12 meter depth, capable of docking ships up to 10,000 tons. For the twin docks, there are two twin docks in Naval Dockyard. The dimensions are 50 meter by 50 meter length, 50 meter width, and 6 meter depth. It's capable of docking ships of up to 250 tons. Now, we have the modular floating dock, which is a collaboration between the master and the Nigerian Navy. The dimensions of the modular floating dock is 120 meters by 23 meters and is capable of docking vessels up to 5,000 tons. Now, a look at our workshops. Naval Dockyard is equipped with several workshops, which include heavy engineering, steel, electrical, arsenal, carpentry, glass reinforced plastic, foundry, galvanizing, and electroplating workshops. These are pictures of the heavy engineering workshops. These are the steel workshops, the electrical workshops, the arsenal workshops, the carpentry workshops, the glass reinforced plastic workshop, the foundry, galvanizing workshop, and then the ship design center. The ship design center is fitted with world-class design software such as AutoShip, AutoCAD, 20, amongst others. Now a look at the air service centers, which include the freshwater treatment plants, seawater fireman pump station, alternative power supply plants, fire station, motor vehicle workshop, stock complex, medical center, library, and fuel station. These are the various, this is firefighting station, the air services centers where the vehicles are. This is the medical center in Naval Dockyards. This is the fuel station and all that. Now a look at our activities. The major activities of Naval Dockyard Limited include the docking of ships for repairs and surveys, shipbuilding and boat construction, construction of marine structures, barges and houseboats, loading of vessels. And the common ship repairs carried out are hull cleaning and preservation, cropping and repletting, shaft/rudder repairs, valve servicing, anchor engine, glass reinforced plastic repairs, aluminum vessels repairs. These are the list of the shipyards in Nigeria, of which Naval Dockyard Limited is one of them. Now to our achievements. A major milestone in the history of Naval Dockyard Limited was the key laying ceremony in December 2007 that flagged off the construction of the first Nigerian Navy 31-meter seaworld defense boat. This was Nigerian Navy's pioneer effort at building a man of war locally, which was a welcome challenge to the Naval Dockyard Limited. The vessel was designed by a team of Nigerian Navy officers, and full construction work commenced in January 2008, and the ship was delivered in 2012. Some of the ship's general characteristics are length overall 31.3 meter, breadth 5.5 meter, and depth 3.4 meter, with a depth of 1.6 meter and maximum displacement of 150 tons, with steel hull and superstructures. The picture of the vessel is as shown on the screen. Now, after the construction of the first seaworld defense vessel, Nigerian Naval Dockyard also constructed the 38-meter seaworld defense boat. It's supposed to be okay. And thereafter, Nigerian Navy is constructing a 43-meter seaworld defense boat, which is currently ongoing. The length of the boat is 43 meter, the breadth is 7.5 meter, and the depth is 4.1 meter. It will have a maximum speed of 20 knots and a cruising speed of 12 knots. The vessel is as shown below, is still in one of our twin docks. This is the construction phase of the 43-meter seaworld defense boat that is currently ongoing. These are the various phases of the construction. This is where we are. And we're expecting to deliver the vessel in the next 1 to 2 months maximum. Additionally, Nigerian Naval Dockyard also constructed river patrol boats. The Dockyard collaborated with Epena Nigeria Limited for the construction of GRP boats as shown. About 100 of these GRP boats have been constructed in the yard. The Nigerian Navy also constructed the 25-meter houseboats. The concept design of the boats involved assembly of modules made of 40-foot containers, and the construction has been completed and delivered. Nigerian Naval Dockyard is also constructing 2x500-ton self-propelled barge in partnership with Haptop Engineering Services. The construction of the barge is currently ongoing in the yard. These are also glass reinforced plastic boats that are being constructed in the yard. Now, one important feature of our ship construction is the capacity building in the area of local fabrication. The Naval Dockyard Limited successfully domesticated fabrication of parts and accessories of all this construction. All the fabrications were made in the yard using both human and material resources available locally. You can see the watertight doors that were constructed for the currently being constructed 43-meter seaworld defense boat. You will see the hatches, the watertight hatches. These are all made locally. The locally fabricated pipes are shown on the screen.
Come on, Igwe, because your 10 minutes is up.
Okay, ma'am. In conclusion, the Naval Dockyard Limited is one of the ship construction yards in Nigeria Currently, we have been constructing only Nigerian Navy vessels. We have not had any merchant vessel contract for construction of merchant vessels, and we wish that we could get that contract because we have the capability. Construction of military vessels is far more complex. The technology is far more complex than that of merchant vessels. So it will hope that after the construction, we could be getting orders for the construction of merchant vessels for various clients, both in and outside Nigeria. Thank you very much for your rapt attention. That brings me to the end of my presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for this wonderful presentation. I believe that after this Maritime Business Roundtable, I mean, people have seen your capabilities, and people are watching from all over the world. That not many days from now, you'll be engaged to provide your services to the Merchant Navy. We'll be very happy to, announce the fact that you are able to do this work and to do it very well, and that would improve civilian business at the Naval Dockyard. Thank you very much. So we are now going to be traveling to Cape Coast, South Africa, and we would listen to the presentation of Vanessa Davidson. Madam Rapporteur, if you could give us the citation of Madam Vanessa Davidson before she mounts the center stage.
All right, thank you. Vanessa Davidson is a special project manager for the Saldanha Bay Industrial Development Zone. She's responsible for maritime business and development and the cost-benefit analysis of new port structure. Vanessa has managed the South African Boat Builders Council, and she's a founding director of Blue Cape, a new non-profit entity promoting training and job creation in the ocean space. Internationally, Vanessa is the chairman of the International Marine Certification Institute in Belgium. She holds an MPhil from the University of Cape Town. Join me as I welcome Vanessa Davidson.
Thank you very much, colleagues. And it's great to be able to present to you from Cape Town today. And thank you to the speakers who've gone before me. It's been extremely interesting, and I already see touch points in the points that I'd like to cover today. I don't have a PowerPoint for you, but I think I've got four or five key takeaways to share with you. So I have for many years managed either a Marine Industry Association or the South African Boat Builders Export Council. And the South African Boat Builders Export Council promotes South African built recreational and commercial vessels. But what I wanted to point out there is that association is supported by our Department of Trade, Industry and Competition. There are 23 export councils from different sectors. And we've been supported for the last 20 years as an industry. So the impact of intentional interventions by government do bear fruit, but it requires a long-term commitment and it requires maturity of the industry. So as was explained, I'm currently working for the Saldanha Bay Industrial Development Zone. It is a special economic zone located on the west coast, about an hour north of Cape Town itself. And what the SEZ does, it's located in the port of Saldanha, which is the deepest port in Southern Africa, is to unlock investment in the energy and the marine manufacturing, fabrication and services sector. So it is a greenfields development, and it offers tax incentives, custom controlled area, it's an ISPS port, and we also access SEZ funding via our Department of Trade, Industry and Competition for capital infrastructure for investors who locate within the zone. And what is the work that I've been doing is a cost-benefit analysis of new port infrastructure that needs to go into Saldanha Bay in order to catalyze the marine manufacturing, ship repair, ship fabrication that is going to locate in the zone. And what's been very interesting is that the South African government in 2014 had Operation Phikisa, unlocking the economic potential of the ocean's economy. And at the time, it was identified that marine infrastructure needed to be put into Saldanha Bay, a marine services jetty, as well as a deep water berth to support the industry. But this has not happened for a number of different reasons. And in the work that I've undertaken, it's been extremely interesting to re-look at the industry and look at the current demand and how that has changed from 2014. So the reduction in the number of visiting oil rigs has been quite significant over the last 7 years. And therefore the need for a deep water berth is not not such a high priority as the marine services jetty. And very importantly, this work is being undertaken with our National Ports Authority, TNPA, and Transnet, which is the body that TNPA falls underneath. And I think that if I reflect on South Africa's shipbuilding, ship repair industry, trying to get a good working relationship between the various government structures and private industry is actually critical to catalyzing development in the sector. If I look historically to our previous speaker from the Naval Dockyard, in South Africa, the Navy historically played a very important role in the development of shipbuilding and ship repair capabilities, primarily at the Simonstown Dockyard, and there was significant investment in training and development. There was a shipwright apprenticeship developed in the 1970s. However, defense budgets have been cut significantly in South Africa, and that is significantly reduced from what it used to be. But if we look at the private sector, what we've seen historically is the critical importance of large engineering firms, and I think particularly back to Globe Engineering, and over time to develop that critical skills base to support the sector, and also to ensure that young people coming up are also given an opportunity, so that we don't end up with an aging skill set at an artisanal level, which is what we do see in South Africa. The other point I wanted to make was about the crucial role of infrastructure. Our Namibian colleague was sharing the sizes of the floating dry docks that have been brought into Namibia. And as ships get bigger, one has to take that into account when looking at infrastructure. Port infrastructure doesn't happen often. It's a long-term investment. And we need to look at how we can accommodate this growing size of ships that need to be serviced. I think particularly of Cape Town, where we have the Robertson dry dock, we have a Historic dry dock, and we have a ship lift, or what we refer to as the synchro lift. Now, the Historic dry dock was built in the 1930s, and particularly looking at servicing warships. And it is a narrow dry dock, which does limit us in terms of the sizes of vessels that we can accommodate. And not just the docks, but also the cranes, the quayside support structures are extremely important. And I think that the maintenance and the efficiencies of running those facilities are absolutely crucial, as well as the scheduling. So if you look at a sort of optimal finance model, ideally you want to have lower docking fees, and that the profit margins are being made from the actual repair work that's being undertaken. So just back to what our government has done to support us. As I've referenced, we had Operation Phikisa Ocean's Economy, and that has made the maritime sector a national priority. However, there's been slow implementation. One of the significant developments for us was the designation of workboats for public procurement, which means that government must procure boats from the local shipbuilders one of the challenges we had with that was arriving at the percentage local content, which is currently set at 60%. But it was not an easy task to arrive at that 60%. I think one of the earlier speakers also referenced the fact that quite a few components that go into ship repair are imported as well. And then I think lastly is the really important interface between the ports authorities and industry associations. So in South Africa, we have the South African Association of Ship Repairers, we have port consultative committees, and all of this is contained within the legal framework of our Ports Act. And that often defines the type of management models that can be put in place. So when you're looking at the interface between the private sector and government, I think it's crucial to unpack that relationship and to be able to optimize the facilities that you have. Then perhaps my last point is around the actual, we have in Cape Town a shipbuilding center with Nautic and V-Craft and Damon shipyards. And in Durban, we have South African shipyards. And there are some smaller marine manufacturers as well, such as Mountain Marine and Crownsworth. All of them seem to have found a niche in terms of the sectors that they supply into. And I think that those niches are very important. I mean, I think about, ballistic protection as being one of the niche areas of one of those boat builders. And in conclusion, just to say the absolute importance that underpins them of design and of naval architecture competencies. So I hope that's given you a little bit of insight into the South African experience, and look forward to taking questions later. Thank you very much.
Find a way to.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vanessa. Thank you very much. There are questions coming on, and I'm sure there'll be questions for you during the question time. And one takeaway from your presentation is the fact that intentional involvement of government is necessary for development of shipyards. That is vital. So we go to our next presentation, and that will be given by Engineer Greg Ogbeifun, who is the Managing Director of STARS Marine and Engineering Limited. Madam Rapporteur, if you would present Engineer Ogbeifun before he takes center stage.
Thank you. Engineer Ogbeifun is the chairman of STARS Investments Company Limited, a marine logistics company whose activities include ownership, operation, management, and maintenance of vessels. It is the first privately owned indigenous ship repair yard in Nigeria and has been in operation since the year 2000. He's a qualified marine engineer with the first class combined certificate of competency. He's a member of the British Society of Marine Consultants and Ship Surveyors, the American Society of Naval Architects and Marine Engineers, and the Institute of Directors. He's the pioneer president of the Ship Owners Association of Nigeria. Engineer Ogbeifun also sits as a member of the advisory board of the Commonwealth Enterprise and Investments Council. He is most sought after by leaders in the maritime industry on both federal and state levels due to his clarity of vision and in-depth professional experience, as he has served in different federal, ministerial, and state committees. His companies have built a strong reputation in the Nigerian maritime industry by guaranteeing excellent service delivery, zero unscheduled downtime, and zero lost time injury. With a competent workforce, these enterprises continue to exceed clients' expectations while contributing significantly to the growth of the Nigerian maritime industry. He has received many awards, which include Immense Contributor to Manpower Development in 2006 by the Maritime Academy of Nigeria, or Trailblazer in 2016 by the All African Students Union in recognition of his contribution to the welfare of students across West Africa. He also received an award as Manager of the Year by the Europe Business Assembly in 2016. He has presented many papers within and outside Nigeria on crucial maritime issues. He's very committed to helping the less privileged, worried about the high level of unemployment among Nigerian youth. He incorporated the Eagle Watch Security Limited, which today has over 800 Nigerians on its payroll, and his latest incorporation is Diverse Auto Care Center Limited. Despite the demands of his professional life, he is a family-oriented man and always finds time for his family. Join me as I welcome Engineer Ogbefon. Thank you very much.
Engineer Greg Ogbefon. I saw him on the platform earlier.
He doesn't seem to be on the call anymore. Let me check.
Oh, okay. Let's see. Something may have happened.
He's on here. I can see him under the list.
I'm right here, if you can hear me.
Yes.
You can.
So,
Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Susan. But I believe I'm supposed to be a panelist on this occasion. Is that correct?
yes, you are.
So what am I expected to do right now?
You are okay. You are expected to speak to the topic, shipbuilding and ship repairs as a tool for national transformation. And if you could put on your video as well, so that you'll be in center stage. I see that you are muted, and your video is your video is supposed to be on, but we're not seeing you. At least I'm not seeing you.
I'm seeing you guys. I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, but we can't see you. Well, at least I can't see you.
I can see him.
Oh, okay. I can see you, but his face is not showing, at least from my end.
Okay, if you can hear me, I want to first of all thank the organizers of this event and commend their consistent efforts to continue to
Okay.
Hello.
Okay, we can see you now. So I think you can.
Okay.
You can continue.
Yeah, I want to quickly thank the organizers of this event, particularly Zoe Maritime, led by Susan herself. Well, we're having unfortunately, we're having very serious network challenges. It's been there since. But let me commend the presentation by the Chief Executive of Niger Bennett Transport Company, BTC in Warri. She did a fantastic job of paper. She brought all the key issues out to the fore. Harita did a wonderful job of what's happening in Namibia. And of course, our own neighborhood there been there doing their best. I want to zero in. It's a major maritime nation, but I do not think we have effectively taken advantage of the opportunities we have in our environment, particularly in the area of maritime infrastructure, ship repair, and of course, ship building. There's virtually no serious shipbuilding going on in this country, except for what the Nigerian Navy thankfully is doing in Lagos. We have close to 800 or more vessels in our waters operating locally in our cabotage space. And a very large percentage of that are going away to other countries, including Namibia, for attention over time. The question is, why are we in this situation? We shouldn't be talking about the benefits without talking about even establishing opportunity for these activities to happen in our country. The case for Namibia is a fantastic case in view, where the government only as recently as 2005, the government of Namibia said, let us go out there and establish ship repair facility in our country. And between 2005 and today, we all saw what they have done. In our environment, there is no visible efforts in this area for our system to be supported, for the establishment of either a publicly owned facility like you have in Namibia, or even a private initiative. I mean, STARS commenced the efforts to establish ship repair in this country in the year 1998, and was only able to start operations in the year 2000. Now, between 2000 and now, we haven't made any substantial progress. Other ship repair initiatives are struggling. We need to seriously see how the enabling environment can be created for Nigeria to begin to seriously participate or establish ship repair facility, including shipbuilding, that can attract international patronage and interest. I'm being careful with my choice of words here, because we've been trying to expand our facility for some time, and it took almost 10 years before we could get even Hello, can you still hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. You were off the air for some time.
Okay. Continental Shipyard is no more. There are all sorts of initiatives being put together to make it happen. STARS is on its own. In the eastern flank, you have West Atlantic that West Atlantic Shipyard initially went into shipbuilding, and they found that they couldn't sustain it. They are now into ship repair. MVTC that has been there for a long time should be a much bigger player than they are now. So our environment is just not yet ready to help the development of ship repair and shipbuilding, talk less of benefiting from the economic advantage that we'll have had if we are made to operate in a much more conducive environment. I wouldn't want to go into details of what STARS is doing.
Hello, are you still there? Engineer Gwefun is actually speaking to us from Benin, so he's not at his regular.
Well, it's been a very tough and challenging one, coping with interruptions from the network. Anyway, I would like to pause here and give other people the opportunity to make their own point. Thank you very much indeed for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Engineer Gwefun. We applaud the effort of STARS Shipyard, and a take home from your presentation is the fact that there's not much visible support on the part, not much deliberate support from the part of the Nigerian government as regards shipbuilding and ship repairs. Not the kind of support that we have seen that the Namibian government has given to NAMDOC, or what the South African government is doing as well. So, which is all the more reason why we're having this conversation and why we're having people from other jurisdictions join us, so that we can see what is happening elsewhere in Africa, and knowing that we can better our situation by looking at what our sisters are doing. So thank you very much, Engineer Gwefun. So in fact, I believe that Mr. Additional Emmanuel would be on the spot now, because Mr. Additional Emmanuel is the next speaker. He's at the Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission. Perhaps he would have a thing or two to say to us about deliberate government intervention and support for shipbuilding and ship repairs. As we have seen from other jurisdictions, this is not something that is happen chance. This is something that a government actually zeroes in to achieve all of the direct, indirect, and the spiral effects that shipbuilding and ship repairs causes to an economy. Madam Rapporteur, if you could present Mr. Additional Emmanuel before he comes to center stage.
Thank you. Mr. Additional Emmanuel is a pioneer staff of Nigerian Investment Promotion Commission, NIPC, Nigeria's foremost investment promotion agency. He has been the Director of Investment Promotion of the Commission since October 2017. As DIP, he's responsible for deploying the Commission's promotional tools to pitch to investors at both local and international forums. with the aim of attracting investment to Nigeria. Please join me as I welcome Additional Emmanuel.
Mr. Emmanuel, you have the floor, please. Mr. Emmanuel, you have the floor. Can you hear us? Okay,
Good morning. Yes, I can hear you now.
good. You have
Sorry, I'm trying to see how I can share my screen.
okay.
Just a few. Okay, can you see it now?
Well, it hasn't opened yet.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay.
Open.
Already set it.
I think you should double click on it. It can open.
It's already showing that. Let's look at the- Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay, maybe I'll just because I don't know what's happening because it shows me that it shows me here that it's being shared. It shows me that I'm screen sharing. So
I think that what you can do is you can talk us through it because what we are seeing here. Okay.
all right. So yeah, you showing now?
Yes, yes,
Can you see it now?
yes, we can.
All right. All right. Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, as I've introduced, Additional Emmanuel, Director of Investment Promotion, Nigeria Investment Promotion Commission. I'm here to make a presentation on behalf of NIPC, and the title is Promoting Investment Opportunities in Shipbuilding and Repairs Industry in Nigeria at this Maritime Business Roundtable virtual breakfast meeting. Let me start by saying that there are many investment opportunities in the maritime industry from cargo operations, but the one we are talking about here is shipbuilding and ship repairs. And I'm so happy that earlier speakers, particularly Mrs. Luyede, has mentioned some of the economic impacts, which even, I mean, she has actually helped me to go further than what I have here. Creation of employment opportunities, both direct and indirect, linkage to other sectors, conservation of foreign exchange. It enhances national security and sovereignty because it's not safe to have foreigners manning our, handling our ship building and repairs. It eases and increases the volume of maritime trade. It also increases government revenue in form of taxes that are paid by the shipbuilding companies and their employees. So my heart bled a bit when I heard the last speaker, Engineer Greg, when he mentioned the fact that no visible efforts have been made in Nigeria, and he compared with Namibia that started after us. And so the question is, what happened? Why? I mean, I think I also want to say that we know that government put in place the Cabotage Act 2003, which we are all aware of what it means to allow only vessels that are only owned and manned by Nigerian citizens built and registered in Nigeria to operate in our domestic waters. And so what, despite these waivers, I mean, this Cabotage Act, let me just move on. What happened that we have a situation that Engineer Greg was talking about, where there are no visible efforts in Nigeria. I was made to understand in trying to find out what happened that is due to one, low capacity of Nigerian shipbuilding industry to meet the demand of a cabotage trade market. Also, inability of ship owners to access funds to enhance their operations, and lack of adequate attention to the condition of the service and welfare of Nigerian seafarers on port. Well, this is subject to debate by the operators, but what I know is that government has also been putting efforts to ensure that these challenges are overcome. For instance, I know that NIMASA, which is Nigeria's Maritime Administration and Safety Agency, put in place a cabotage compliance strategy to ensure that foreign ship owners have a succession plan of replacing Nigerians with those who are their employees. And then we also have government also put in place a cabotage vessel financing fund to address the issue of funding. And I think not long ago, the president actually launched the fund and gave permission for the fund to be start to be assessed. And then government also put in place incentives. Many people don't know that, I mean, there are so many incentives, but one that I'm going to talk about here is income tax relief, which is administered by NIPC. It's a tax holiday of minimum of 3 years and a maximum of 5 years for shipbuilding, shipbuilders and repairers. Unfortunately, many people don't know that there's something like that. There is that industry qualifies for pioneer status incentive, and that's why I carve it out and put it here. It's under subsection 62 of the pioneer industry, and it's, the industry is building of ships, boats, and floating structures for transportation. I will see the product. If you fall into any of these categories, you are qualified for pioneer status, which is that there is no payment of corporate income tax for the first 3 years minimum. And then if the fund is well used, staff savings is well used, it can go on to another 1 year and another 1 year. Government also puts in place economic sustainability plan. I'm also happy when an earlier speaker was talking about the damage that COVID has done to the maritime industry. We know that this COVID-19 actually affected all sectors, but the sectors that where it affected most were transport and tourism. And the government has put in place measures, which I will not go into detail. That's the economic sustainability plan. And one of the objectives is to promote manufacturing and local production at all levels, including shipping, shipbuilding and repairs. The use of made in Nigeria goods and so on. So, and the pillars, they have a lot of interventions in real sector measures and so on. Again, we are also aware of the fact that the Nigerian investment environment, we know it was very, very much unfriendly, and the effort government has been making by setting up the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which has succeeded in moving Nigeria from the last 10 countries or so in terms of doing business to the position of 131 now. The efforts are still going on. We are not yet where we are supposed to be, but I think we are no longer where we used to be. Now, just round up, I want to talk about NIPC, which is also another effort of government to improve the investment environment. NIPC was established by the government to encourage, promote, and coordinate investment in Nigeria. And some of the principal functions include to project attractive investment image for Nigeria. We are aware of the fact that a lot of information that go out about Nigeria is discouraging investors. So, and this information are not actually real. They are perception, and there's need for us to go out and give the other side of the information. We produce investment newsletters, which were 6 days out of 7 days of every week on the kind of investment news that come out from Nigeria, which investors may not be aware of. Investment promotion, we promote investment both locally and internationally. We facilitate investment. I will talk briefly about this, some of the things we do to facilitate investment. And then we embark on policy advocacy. I'm also going to advise the operators, particularly engineer Greg and other and others in that sector, to they can come up with the ideas and initiatives on how to ensure that the industry grows, and they work with NIPC to put this position across to government. Some of the things, efforts, some of the things we have done to improve, to promote investment. We produce a compendium of investment incentives in Nigeria so that investors don't have to be looking for incentives from one sector to another. There is a compendium of this. It is available on NIPC website, www.nipc.gov.ng. You will see all the incentives that are available. I'm sure there are more incentives than pioneer status that even the shipbuilder can benefit from. But by the time you look at it, you will see it. We also have the, we produce iGuide in Nigeria. It's an easy to use online investment guide that provides investors with up-to-date information on how to invest in Nigeria. It has information about starting a business, labor cost, production factor, and all those things. And it is updated. The good thing is that it's available in about 100 languages. And it's also available on our website, NIPC website. We also have the One-Stop Investment Center, which has 27 agencies of government under one roof in NIPC. All of them have one thing or another to do with investment facilitation, from Corporate Affairs Commission, for Federal Inland Revenue Service. And interestingly, NIMASA is also one of the agencies in the One-Stop Investment Center. So we work together to fast track the process to provide information and all that investor needs. We have immigration service and customs for those who are importing. So this center provides business facilitation services for investors. We also have the One-Stop Investment Center Lab, OSIC Lab. This lab is established to assist investors to, whenever they have issues or challenges with any government agency, we invite both sides to see how we can resolve the issues. Though it's just started sometime, not more than a year or so ago, but many companies have had their issues resolved through this platform. I think the reason is that we believe that most times government agency prefer that something should be discussed with them offline than putting it out in the public. And so when we do this, we see that we achieve a lot. So in rounding off, I'll just say that NIPC has a lot to do for investors. We promote and facilitate both foreign direct investment and domestic direct investment in priority sectors, including the shipbuilding. We also network Nigerian private sector with their foreign prospective counterparts. We serve as a liaison between investors and relevant government agencies, like I said earlier, under the basic plan and the policy advocacy function. We create a platform for relevant government agencies to listen and to resolve challenges faced by investors. And then, like I said earlier, we work behind the scene to solve problems for investors. We may not publicize it outside, but a lot of investors have benefited from this service. So I want to encourage the practitioners in the shipbuilding and ship repairs to take advantage of NIPC to present their position to government, and hopefully we see an improvement in the activities of shipbuilding and ship repairs in Nigeria. Thank you very much. I want to thank you for the opportunity given to me to do this presentation.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel. Your last statement is very important, that people in the ship repair and shipbuilding industry should take advantage of the opportunity that there are at the NIPC to approach them and seek their assistance. Thank you very much. And so now we would be going to the Nigerian Inland Waterways Authority to deal with a lesser known aspect of their work. Madam Rapporteur, will you please introduce Mr. Joseph Ororo, who is the GM Marine at NIWA. Let him make his presentation.
All right, thank you. I'd like to introduce Engineer Joseph Ororo. He's currently the General Manager, Marine Services Department at the National Inland Waterways Authority. He's the Pioneer General Manager, Port Services Department at the National Inland Waterways Authority. And he was a Pioneer Port Manager, Onitsha River Port, Onitsha. He bagged an MSc in Marine Survey at the Middlesex University, London. He has an engineering degree from the University of Benin. He has a diploma in the Small Craft Survey, gotten from the Lloyd's Maritime Academy, London. He has a qualification in marine engineering from the University of Science and Technology, Port Harcourt. He has a public-private partnership certificate from the World Bank. In the course of his career, he has worked at the NIWA, which he joined in December 2004. He worked as an engineer at Dangote Transport Limited. He worked as a second engineer on a tanker vessel at Maka International Shipping Nigeria Limited. He was the chief engineer on board a tanker ship at Amitas Nigeria Limited, Lagos. He was the fifth engineer at the NNSL, the defunct NNSL. He worked as an engineer at Niger Dock Nigeria Limited. And he started his career and served at NNPC, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation. He's a member of the Nigerian Society of Engineers, and in his spare time, he enjoys swimming and badminton. Join me as I welcome Engineer Joseph Keme Ororo.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you have the floor for 10 minutes.
Thank you, and good morning to panelists and participants. I want to start by saying that if you take a look at most of the wealthiest nations world over, these are littoral states that have taken advantage of the abundant resources and opportunities derivable from access to the seas and rivers. And so if you look at them, for instance, a country like South Korea is a great shipbuilding company. Singapore has also joined the league of countries that have made a lot of wealth from shipbuilding and ship repairs. As we can recall, in NNSL in those days, before the liquidation, most of the vessels that were operated were also built in South Korea, as well as some other countries, but many of them were built in South Korea, and they have not given up. At the moment, we know Hyundai Heavy Industries and Samsung Heavy Industries are major shipbuilding companies. We can all remember that our own Egina FPSO was built in South Korea at an approximate sum of $3 billion US. Singapore is into shipbuilding and ship conversion and makes an annual turnover of around $10 billion US, employing about 100,000 direct labor. So you can see what shipbuilding and ship repairs can do to a country. Nigeria, with a lot of access to the ocean and with about 10,000 kilometers of inland waterways, there is no reason why we shouldn't be in the league of shipbuilding countries, or at least a major player in the ship repairs subsector. And incidentally, you know, when Niger Dock was established, we were getting it right. But somehow along the line, we shifted the focus. And so we haven't really gone far. Like said, National Inland Waterways Authority is said that it's a lesser known function, but actually it's a major cost, a major function of the authority. Because if a country has about 10,000 kilometers of water, of course, whoever regulates that body of waters must have a role to play. And that is why in the Act of the National Inland Waterways Authority, regulation of shipyards and ship repair facilities is a key function of the authority. But good to admit that we haven't really played the expected role up until now, but we are changing focus. And that is why we have taken it up to actually go into ship, the regulation of shipbuilding and ship repairs. At the moment, shipbuilding and ship repairs is in the infancy stage. Because if you go around here, there's some form of shipbuilding, but it's unregulated. If you go to Port Harcourt, you go to Warri, you see a lot of fabrication of dumb barges, tugboats, the flat bottom type, and what have you. But there are no standard shipyards. Every open space is a fabrication yard. Sometimes even the so-called shipbuilding facilities that are available at the moment, there are no standard procedures, no standard facilities. So it behoves us as a nation and more of the regulators to actually regulate this subsector of the maritime industry, because it's a huge revenue spinner for us. And NIWA has set about it. There are a lot of procedures, one of which would be that all the shipyards or boat yards have to register. And of course, standards will be set, standard operational procedures. It will also be mandatory that any vessel, before it is built, must send their designs for vetting and approval. And of course, with surveyors that will come from time to time to monitor and assess what is done, so that vessels turned out from these shipyards will meet required standards. We may not get it right from the word go, but of course we must start and keep improving on it. And this we have come to realize in the quest of resolve to find out why we are having a number of boat mishaps on our waterways. We came to the realization that most of the small craft used for ferry services are substandard. And as a matter of fact, if the vessels are not fit for purpose and seaworthy, then you can imagine what will happen. So it is in our resolve as an authority and as a regulatory body that the shipyards must be well regulated according to international best practices. And even the fabrication of vessels, the building of vessels must meet some minimum class societies. We have to build those guidelines to achieve our resolve. And as an authority, we have also ensured that even the ship repair aspect of it has to be regulated. Yes, Niger Dock was getting it right, but along the line, the focus shifted. And so, like other speakers have said, our shipyards, our ship repair facilities are not what we expected it to be. I can tell you, as that was the first place I worked after graduation, Niger Dock was a place of choice for ship owners to come for repairs. We started repairing and repaired even local vessels as well as foreign vessels. I can tell you, one of the assignments I did that I'm still very proud of is that a vessel had earlier gone to one of our neighboring countries to dock. And there was something that they couldn't fix, something they removed from the engine. They couldn't fix it. It was brought back to Niger Dock. And it was my schedule to get it right. And I, with joy, I got it right. And not only once, several cases like that happened. So you can imagine that we were getting it right in Niger Dock. And I'm also a witness that we started building vessels, at least ferry vessels, ferry boats. If you can recall the Baba Kekeres and the vessels of that class, they were built at Niger Dock and were being deployed on the Mile 2 Marina axis for moving Nigerians, workers from Mile 2 to Marina and back at close of work. But somehow we lost that opportunity to build on. And so you see that all the shipyards that were doing quite well are either closing down or are not making progress. But we must give kudos to the Naval Dockyards Limited because they have weathered the storm so far. They have. And even their efforts. Hello?
You have 1 minute. You should conclude.
Okay, thank you. So even their efforts at shipbuilding must be recommended. So one other thing that we need to encourage as a country is the cabotage regime, which is intended to help even the local content, shipbuilding, and build our capacity as a nation, manpower and all of that. And that is why when we had the opportunity, I had the opportunity to serve on one of the committees, which I can call the Bill Committee, to review aspects of the waiver clauses. We made it mandatory that if waivers were going to be granted for manning, then of course a Nigerian officer must be attached to the expatriate to understudy him with a view to taking over after a given period of time. And so we must, as a nation, deliberately encourage shipbuilding and ship repairs because of the many benefits that we would derive as a nation. If we don't start it, we can't get the required capacity to even go into building. At the moment, we can say we are only building boats. Yes, for fiber vessels, fiber boats, we have gone quite far. We have done quite some good progress for fiber vessels. But for other kinds of boats, besides the tugboats and all of that, we still have quite some way to go. And so I want to encourage us that we want to invite investors to come into the shipbuilding and ship repair subsector. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Engineer Roro. And thank you very much for letting us know the role of the National Inland Waterways in shipbuilding, and the fact that henceforth you are going to live up to your role as regulators. Thank you very much. We shall now take the last presentation from the Nigerian Maritime Administration and Safety Agency. Madam Rapporteur, if you can please present Mr. Augustine Imomo of the Shipping Promotion Department.
Okay, so I'd like to welcome Mr. Augustine Imomo. Mr. Augustine Imomo has a bachelor's in engineering, in electronics engineering from the University of Benin. Mr. Imomo has an MSc in oil and gas from the Robert Gordon University, Aberdeen, UK. He also has an MSc in maritime affairs from the World Maritime University, Sweden. He has worked with NIMASA since 2013. Mr. Imomo is presently the personal assistant to the Director on Shipping in the Shipping Development Department. Please join me as I welcome Mr. Augustine Imomo.
Mr. Imomo, please. It appears we're having some technical hitch from his side. Hello? Well, that's the challenge of, of technology sometimes. Wow.
You.
Okay. Hold on. No, no, we can't hear you yet. Okay, you have muted yourself again. You have. Hello, can anyone hear Mr. Momo? No, 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 no.
No,
No.
no.
Okay. No, no one can hear you. No. No. Can anyone hear Mr. Momo?
No, we can't hear him.
Hello? No, they can't hear you. We can't hear you. Are your ICT? Well, Mr. Momo is having some technical challenges at his end. Hello, Mr. Momo is having some technical challenges at his end. So he says we can go on, and whenever he receives whenever he's able to speak and we can hear him, then we would give him an opportunity to speak. So we haven't done badly. In fact, we have done quite well. So we have come to the end of the presentations. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to take the presentation from Nimasa, where I thought that we would have heard about the floating dock that they acquired that is now at the Niger Naval Dockyard, and we would have known what it is doing there and how the maritime industry would benefit from such a huge investment. So it's now my pleasure to open the floor to our global audience for the plenary session. And I'd like to tell the attendees to use the question and answer features to ask questions if they want, or to raise their hands. But I would like to go through the chat box and also the question and answer and see some questions and comments that have come for either all the presenters or some of them. And I'd like to start with the comment that has come from Uganda, from the first female marine mechanic in Uganda, Caroline Abinaitwe. And she says, thank you for the presentation. I think at this point she had listened to the presentation from NBTC, from Namibia, and I think South Africa at this point. And she says, as a young boat builder, how can I benefit from your skills? That means the skills that have been exhibited at the Naval Dockyard, at the NBTC, at NAMDOC. She said, I would wish to know if you have put measures in place for some training, or for some training for some other young people. So her question is there any training for young people? Yeah. Okay. We'll come back to you. So that's the question for the floor. But I also have just received a call from Mr. Imomo saying that he has changed his equipment, and so he's ready. But he also appears to have gone off air again.
Okay, if I may speak to that question. Right now, there are very few countries that have put in training that is specific to shipbuilding, which is one thing that should be the role. You know, in my presentation, unfortunately, there was the time was there was a crunch for time. I was going to say that some of the roles of existing shipyards in Nigeria and all over the world is to synergize. We need to collaborate amongst all the yards and come up with policies and roadmaps that can help sustain the subsector. We also need to develop curriculums, you see, for something like the Apprentice School of Shipbuilding. It is done in other countries where while we have the Maritime School in Oron, we can still have a curriculum that is specific to shipbuilding. I mean, we all know that metal fabrication, piping, coating, and things like that are very specific to shipbuilding. So I think those are things that we need to do, improve on our curriculum. From what we see that is being practiced, we can actually take it back and say, in the classroom, can you teach this? But then when they now come out of the classroom, it can now be applied. The practical can actually be done. So I think it's important that we come up with a framework that includes things that are the practical and technical things in the school curriculum that can be applied in shipbuilding. And then people can come out of school and then be relevant and be able to practice these things. You know, that's what I would say. It is really important. For now, no.
Okay. Thank you very much. Sheyi. I'd like to ask whether Herita, Muyova, or Vanessa have something to say about this. I do know that in South Africa, South Africa is strong in training. Vanessa, can you put in a word there?
Yes, sure. Tusen, thanks. Yes, we're very happy in South Africa to share some of the work that we've done in this space. We started off in 2004 developing a yacht and boat building technical certificate as a 3-year learnership that comprises 5 months at a technical college and 5 months in the workplace. We had some difficulties with that curriculum. We revised it again 4 years later, and then the feedback came from industry that they did not like the structure of a learnership and that they wanted an apprenticeship. So we started on the road of gazetting boat building and shipbuilding as a trade. And then our local sector education training authority undertook to develop an apprenticeship qualification in consultation with industry. And one of the first hurdles we had was that the authorities had conflated boat building and shipbuilding. So it took us a little while to explain that they are 2 different skill sets, generally frame and plate being your shipbuilding component and working with steel and aluminium, and boat building generally being GRP and mold. So it's taken us a long time. We're still in the process of finalizing that apprenticeship, but we certainly be very happy to share those curriculum with you if it would be useful. Thanks, Tusan.
Thank you very much. I think it would be wonderful. I don't know whether Herita had something to add.
I think from our side, we have entered into agreement with our training authority. We do not have specific ship repair kind of curriculum in our country, but we do have an agreement with the training authorities, which means the vocational schools, who are training, for example, welders. But then when they come here for experiential learning, then we put them in the workshops so that we can fast track the learning from ship repair point of view. But as far as the maritime training authority training is in general, we do have relationship with South Africa, where the port authorities send their people so that they are trained there. We have also started talking to the universities here in Namibia, who have also a link with universities in Finland, so that we can start developing schools that is speaking to what our needs are. So that discussion is at a level that we should be able to train our own people moving forward. But otherwise, it's very, very difficult to find the skills straight from the vocational schools.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now that you mentioned Finland, Herita, I saw that there was a question that was directed to you in particular. Oh, okay. Before I read Peter's, which you had answered, but I'd like, I believe that this person is from Finland. This name is Finnish. It's a question that came from Heikki Koivisto, and the person said was thanking Herita for her excellent presentation, and he said, "Do you see the possibility to build a new building ship at Namdok?" And Herita, I don't know what I'd like you to share to everyone the response that you gave, that you're struggling with skills in Namibia.
Yeah, we see, as Vanessa have said, we see two different sets of skills, from shipbuilding to ship repair. And Namibia is not matured for now to start training for shipbuilding. And moving forward, I think in discussion with government, having listened to the benefits that Nigeria and South Africa is having as far as shipbuilding is concerned, I think we need to take it at a national level. For now, we are still struggling. We want to perfect where we want to be in terms of ship repairs, but that does not mean that the future does not hold, or the shipbuilding does not hold any space in our space in the future. So, but it's a dialogue that we need to take with the National Training Authority, with our government, and ensure that we have the skills that can render or deliver the shipbuilding skills within Namibia. But otherwise, for now, we see it as a different kind of animal that requires a different kind of skills, and developing thereof is a long-term kind of vision that we have, but we need to take through in terms of government involvement and the national training authorities. That's why I was also referring to, it's very, very critical that in Africa, we need to start collaborating in terms of skills exchange, in terms of knowledge sharing, so that the young shipyards like our shipyard can learn from the oldest shipyard, like the shipyard that my friend Osei is representing on this platform. Yeah.
Okay. Lovely.
Yes, and I know Captain Heikki has been here as a friend of ours, and he has a program that is running with our university here. So as a shipyard, we are also involved in terms of the experiential learning of those mechanical engineers or maritime engineers. It is going to be our first batch of mechanical and maritime engineers that Namibia is going to develop. But because we are not whitelisted like Nigeria, we find a shortcut in saying, let's enter into agreement with Finland so that we can start developing our engineers moving forward here.
Well, that's a wise move. That's a wise. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Arita. Next, I'd also like to consider a question that was asked by Professor Bankole Shodipo. The question was directed at the Naval Dockyard. I'd like to share it publicly so everyone else can hear the question. And even though Commodore Michael Igwe has given an answer, I would like him to give that answer publicly. And the question is, what role does the Naval Dockyard play in the case of distressed ships within Nigerian waters? How do they monitor distressed ships? Commodore Igwe, can you please share the answer that you shared with Professor Shodipo?
Okay, thank you very much. As I said in the answer, because I've already provided an answer, Nigerian Navy, in fact, the Nigerian Armed Forces have what we call disaster response units. The Nigerian Navy has 16, the Nigerian Air Force has 16, while the Nigerian Army has 32. In Lagos area, the Nigerian Navy Disaster Response Unit is NNS Beecroft, is located in Apapa. They have the assets for search and rescue. So if there is any distress at sea, because we are all in the same Nigerian Navy, we can quickly call on NNS Beecroft to provide rescue, to carry out the rescue operations. We are not a disaster response unit, but we are a maintenance and repair yard. Thank you very much. Okay. Then the other question that was asked, because I've been raising my hand, there was a question that was asked about capacity building. In my presentation, I mentioned that one of the objectives of local shipbuilding is to build capacity and domesticate as many parts of the shipbuilding as possible. To this end, it is gladdening to say that the Naval Dockyard Limited has successfully domesticated fabrication of some parts and accessories of the seaward defense boat 3 project that were currently undertaken. Some of these areas of capacity building include fabrication of water to airtight doors, hatches, piping systems for all forms of liquid on board, and accommodation ladders in the ship. All these fabrications were made in the yard using both human and material resources available locally. Also, somebody also mentioned the issue of training in our shipyards. It is gladdening to note that the Naval Dockyard Limited has what we call Naval Dockyard Apprentice School. It's located in Victoria Island here. This is a facility where we train all the staff, the welders, machinists, mechanicians, and the rest of them, the technical staff. They undergo training in the Naval Dockyard Apprentice School. So normally we take people that are maybe school cert holders and we bring them there and train them to become professionals in their choosing fields and areas. It is gladdening to know that our naval headquarters have recently awarded a huge contract for the re-equipping of the Naval Dockyard Apprentice School. So I had that question and I'm happy to inform you that Naval Dockyard has such facility for training. And we train both naval personnel and civilians from outside. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Commodore. Thank you very much. It appears that training in the shipbuilding and ship repair sector is very.
We have to run back. I've been running back and forth. So do we stay there? Hello.
We will talk to you. Just hold on a minute. I'd like to read out 2 other comments from the attendees. regarding training. And one is from Peter Boom of the Netherlands. And he says, may I add to the topic of training? In Nigeria, there are a few good examples in other industries like oil and gas. I would suggest that the naval subsector consults with the training facilities for oil and gas and replicates the successes achieved in that market. Don't expect overnight results. It is a long-term investment. That is, it's a long-term investment in training in shipbuilding and ship repair. And then I would also like to read out what another delegate has sent us. And he says, I am Idong Gesit Ian, a marine engineer sponsored by NIMASA to study at Romania. I graduated in 2018 and I am currently on my master's in safety and risk engineering here in Canada, a personal development effort I am personally funding while I wait for the next phase of the NIMASA program, which was to provide sea time training after graduation since 2018. The fact is that there are more than 500 cadets who have not been so lucky to add more value to their lives by acquiring more skills or getting a job while they wait. Most of them are back in Nigeria or stuck in the Philippines, Romania, and the UK. I am putting up this question because of the implication, the abandonment of programs and policies that were meant to promote and implement the cabotage law stalled by authorities at NIMASA will have on skills availability in Nigeria. So that's talking about skills. I think it's a good moment at this time. It appears that Mr. Augustine Imomo's device is now working, so we can give him a few minutes to say a word or two, because NIMASA is vital in this conversation. Mr. Imomo, are you ready to say something?
Yes, I'm ready. Can you hear me? Good morning, everyone.
Yes, okay. So you would do 8 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you now. So,
all right. Good morning, everyone. Sorry for the interruption on the internet. We have to quickly change to another device so that we can still talk to this audience this morning. From the NIMASA angle, you all know that we are looking at the shipbuilding and ship repair as a tool for national transformation. And NIMASA, as many of us here know, we are primarily the regulatory arm of the government in the maritime industry. We are also in the business of promoting the maritime industry. And one of these key aspects of the maritime industry is the shipbuilding and ship repair subsector. And now, right from the organizer of this event, they gave us some key areas to be addressed this morning as regards the repair and the shipbuilding industry is concerned. And they want to know from NIMASA what we are doing, what the federal government of Nigeria is doing through NIMASA waiver to stimulate the building of vessels in Nigeria. I would like to first of all to start to understand that we have a Cabotage Act 2023 in place, which one of the speakers rightly mentioned this morning, Mr. Adeshina and Engineer Joseph Ororo. And the Cabotage Act was primarily enacted to promote the development of indigenous tonnage and also to establish a CVFF fund, what we refer to as the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, and other matters. And this Cabotage Act, I would say, is very well active as far as we are concerned today in NIMASA. But what we must know today is that to actualize this very act, we have what we call the 4 pillars of the Cabotage Act, which we commonly refer to as a wholly owned Nigeria company
That is to say, before you can participate in the coastal shipping or coastal trade in Nigeria, such a company must be a Nigeria wholly owned company. And again, all the money crew must also be only be Nigerians. All of them must be Nigerians. And such vessel must be totally built in Nigeria, as that vessel too must also be registered in Nigeria. But what we are concerned here today is the building aspect, the vessel building aspect and the repair as far as cabotage act is concerned. On the ship building aspect, although the waiver application, we are getting waiver from prospective foreign traders, but I would like us to know today that despite we have getting this waiver application, no waiver has been granted because there are so many processes that are involved. And unfortunately, I will say this morning, is that we have not found anybody viable to be qualified for this waiver. And one of the criteria also to be given waiver to be participate in this shipbuilding industry is to ensure that you must, if you are given a waiver to participate in cabotage trade in Nigeria, you must also, as a matter of fact, be ready to dry dock your vessels in Nigeria. However, because we know that these people will see that the laws are quite stringent, they will not allow foreigners to participate. And as pointed out by Engineer Joseph Oruru this morning, we haven't really got enough capacity to build ships in Nigeria. But there are some of these things NIMASA is also encouraging to stimulate the building of a ship in Nigeria. We are encouraging primarily joint venture for shipbuilding and repair in Nigeria. Like the like Engineer Okwefo Stars mentioned this morning, we are encouraging joint venture. And one of those joint venture, which we know that has been yielding fruitful results, is Stars Maritime try to partner with some other company so that they can establish some shipbuildings and repairs in Nigeria. And we are also largely encouraging PPPE, that is public-private partnership, in the building and repair of ship in Nigeria. Because NIMASA, like you know, I mentioned earlier, is a regulatory body and also in the business of promoting the maritime industry. So we are encouraging the public-private partnership so that they can come in as an agency which is saddled with regulatory responsibility. We cannot actually go into this business of establishing shipyard and ship repair. So we are encouraging participation, joint ventures, and public-private partnership. Also, if one of the things that we are doing from NIMASA through the federal government is that there's been an establishment of Maritime Fund for infrastructural development. These some bodies can leverage on the building of cabotage vessels, because as it is, we all know that despite we know that the CVFF is there, the CVFF was initially met to give some sort of fund to stakeholders for the purchase of vessels. That is not actually met, which is one of the questions they asked. It's not actually met to establish shipbuilding and ship repair yard. But we have a separate fund, which we call the Maritime Fund, and that is made for infrastructure, and that can be accessed by various bodies. Then another key aspect the organizer will want NIMASA to throw some light on today is to know what is happening presently to the floating dockyard, which was all publicized and that was acquired some time ago by NIMASA. What I will say briefly about the floating dockyard, when it was acquired, it was actually stationed in the south side part of the country, and it was later, maybe 2019, it was moved down to the naval dockyard. And as we speak today, I think there is some form of agreement between the maritime management bodies to move that the floating dockyard to the Taconeta shipyard, and I think there are discussions ongoing to put it to a proper use. And some of the things they also want us to show light on today is that why, in the first place, was this floating dockyard acquired? We all know, I spoke about one of our participants today. You know, the acquisition of floating dockyard is very key to ship repair in any part of the world. You know, it was actually acquired, you know, for ship repair purposes. And we all know that this can generate a lot of employment opportunity, and which by all that we know, that will also help to build human capacity in the shipbuilding and the ship repair industry. And we also know that you know, building capacity in the shipbuilding industry is very key in this part of the world today. So we envisage that acquiring a floating dockyard will also enable the Nigeria shipbuilding and ship repair industry to acquire the technical know-how, you know, by training people to be able to build and repair ship in Nigeria. And another key factor, which we know that one of the reasons behind the acquisition of this is, you know, this can actually help us to build the maritime image of the country. You know, in the time past, we know that some of these vessels will come to Nigeria, and when they have any technical issue on having to dry dock their vessels, they move to neighboring village, and that amount to some form of capital flight. And these were some of the reasons which were put together for the Nigerian maritime industry to acquire the floating dockyard. Like I said earlier, there are serious discussions by the NIMASA management, as I'm aware today, to put that floating dockyard into proper use, because I am aware very recently that the DG of NIMASA, Dr. Bashir Jamu, had a meeting with some other maritime industry stakeholders in Nigeria to put the floating dockyard into proper use. And another question the organizers of this Maritime Roundtable want to know from NIMASA is to share with these audience if the cabotage vessel financing fund can be applied to the funding of shipyard building cabotage vessels. You know, like I pointed out earlier, I would say that the cabotage vessel financing fund, as it is generally known, is specifically a fund set aside for stakeholders to acquire vessels. But we now begin to see that if you keep acquiring and without building capacity, it will not help the Nigeria industry and the Nigeria maritime sector by extension. So it is not meant to acquire shipyard building cabotage vessel, but like I pointed out, there is a separate maritime fund which is set aside, which stakeholders can be assessed for that purpose. And they will always also want to know today how Nigeria could come in, on how Nigeria could step into the gap that it seems to be available in the West and Central Africa sub-region today in the terms of ship repair and shipbuilding. What I will say this morning to my global audience is that, like I pointed out earlier, is that NIMASA, we are under the current management, you know, we are encouraging a lot of foreign partners to participate with local company for shipbuilding in Nigeria. And we are also encouraging a whole lot of the PPE arrangement for people to be able to come in to establish some shipbuilding and ship repair yard in Nigeria. I will quickly want to talk about what our presenter, our panelist from Namibia said earlier. You know, she said they are looking up to Nigeria to be able to do some form of arrangement. I want to say to Ereta this morning that yes, Nigeria will welcome any form of arrangement that will help to establish shipbuilding and ship repair industry in Nigeria. I would like to stop there because I think my 8 minutes is fast gone. Thank you, Madam Emore, for this opportunity for the masters to share in what they are doing as regards shipbuilding and ship repair as a tool for national transformation. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Momo. Thank you very much. And we are sorry that your equipment didn't work at the first time, but you had the floor and you have said everything that you needed to say. While you are still on the floor, a question came, and I think that this question is actually for Nimasa. I think that Nimasa is the answer. A question came from Mr. Ambrose Urugun, and he says, please, who approves ship designs in Nigeria? Who approves ship designs in Nigeria?
You know, there are a lot of processes. You know, ship design is not it's not a toy business. You know, there are a lot of processes that comes in preparing for ship design. There are a lot of stages, like I'm aware, you know, like when I undertake some study to Finland and to Japan and again Italy, when we look at the building of a ship, it's a very major business. So yes, NIMASA has a part to play, but in the design itself, I think we have Commodore Olugbega Olaya here. I think, you know, from the angle of NIMASA, we can give some form of approval. We can give some form of approval. When it comes to when I mean some form of the documentary approval, but when it comes to the issue of the design of the ship, the technical issues of the ship, I think Commodore Olaya may want to throw more light on the technical aspect. Thank you.
Can you answer? I can see Mr. Joseph Ororo also raising his hand. But Commodore Igwe, can you respond? I mean, the question is, who approves ship designs in Nigeria? You know, I had said it was NIMASA because I do know that if you are building a vessel, you need to send the designs to NIMASA, and NIMASA accompanies whoever it is to the shipyard. That's why I thought it was NIMASA. But Commodore Igwe, can you throw some light there?
The truth is that when you come up with your ship design, you come up with your design concept. Then you are supposed to go to the classification body to approve that you are drawing. In Nigeria, we don't have a local ship classification, just like BV, Bureau Veritas. That's what we have been asking for, that Nigeria should find a way of developing its own classification body. Because they are the ones that actually, when you come up with your ship design drawing, you have to take it to them for approval, for them to approve it, for it to be of international standard. As it stands today, there is nobody that approves that. Nigeria does not have it. Nigeria has not domesticated its own classification standards. We don't have that classification body. We still go to, like, the vessels we are building, it's still BV that we're using, Bureau Veritas, to approve our drawings, electrical drawings, mechanical drawings, and all that.
Okay. Okay.
So that's the situation where we're.
Thank you very much. There's a question for Niwa. Yes, there's a question for you. There's a question for Niwa. Let me ask it, and then you can also throw in some light on the designs. And the question is, why is it that Niwa's regulatory interest, apart from setting standards by tasking those in shipbuilding and ship repairs to register and pay money, fails to include any form of support or assistance to shipbuilding companies? That's the question from Dele Aderibi. That's number one. Number two, he says, Engineer Aurora observed that shipbuilding and ship repair companies were either closing down or regressing. What is NIWA doing to alter the trend, apart from only registering and probably collecting money? Engineer Aurora, you have the center stage, please, to respond.
Yes, thank you very much. Those questions we can actually put together, questions 1 and 2. The intent of newer ship regulation is not just to register and make money. Anything that is not properly regulated cannot actually make meaningful progress. That is why, like everyone else has observed, our shipbuilding industry or ship repair is still in the infancy stage. And that is mainly because it has not been regulated as it ought to be. If it is, in fact, the purposes of regulation are so that you will set standards and ensure that the vessels or the products you turn out are internationally acceptable, so you can even have clientele from outside of Nigeria. So the intention to regulate the shipbuilding industry is not to make money, but to actually make improvement. And when you do improve, then of course the investors themselves make more money. So it's a win-win situation for everybody. Skills will be acquired. Technology will be transferred and acquired. So that is what it is. Then, of course, if you want to give financial aid to shipbuilding and ship repair yards, it's only a regulated organization or body that you can actually monitor. Otherwise, they will take your money and do something else with it. More so, newer, because we want to grow the indigenous shipbuilding capacity, most of our vessels that we acquire as an authority are built in country. Just last year, we built a tugboat. We also built a houseboat locally. Even this year, at the moment, we are building a pilot boat locally. That is by way of also encouraging local industry. We also build some transit buses, ferry boats in Lagos, about 3 of them. So you can see that we are encouraging the local industry. And of course, to also encourage the ship repair yard locally, we have a ship repair facility at Warri. We have a slipway at Warri, which we have rehabilitated. It's about 92% complete, and we have started test running. So you can see we are encouraging. The funds will come if it is well organized so that the funds are not misapplied. That is what I would say in brief to those 2 questions. Now, talking about approval for ship design. Now, we are trying to merge both boats and ships. Because for me, from my understanding, ship is a larger framework of a floating vessel as compared to a boat. What we largely do here is boat building. But when you talk about shipbuilding that goes offshore, deep sea sailing and all of that, we have actually not gone near that. And that is why I said, as for boat building, we have made quite some progress. We have the capacity to build FRP, that is fiber reinforced plastics or glass reinforced plastic boats and all of that. And some level of steel boats, because we have barges, dump barges. We have also some level of self-propelled vessels like tugboats, particularly the flat bottom type and all of that. So to actually approve vessel design, I see it in 2 phases. NIWA has the mandate for regulating inland crafts. And that being the case, you need to bring your designs to us as a regulatory body. If we do not have the capacity in-house, that is the essence of partnering with some other person that has the capacity. And of course, you learn on it with a view to actually, getting to take it over. So you bring your design to us as an authority. We go through it, vet it, subject it to all that is necessary as a regulatory body. When we have equally set the standards, I mentioned it, we need to set the standards. And in setting the standards, what are you looking at? Are you going to adopt one class society recommendations or class requirements? Is it the European International Standard or Bureau Veritas or Lloyd's and all of that? But for us, we will start at a level so that we will be able to grow indigenous capacity. So once we have set all those class requirements and all of that, then of course it's our duty to vet your design and approve. So you build to that specification. That is what it is. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for throwing light on that. That was very useful. I think this is the last question on the platform, and it's also from Elvis Ejamai. My question is to NIMASA. Do you need any form of certificate from NIMASA to render HVAC and electrical services to the shipping industry in Nigeria? Augustine Imomo, please. Mr. Imomo, did you hear that question? His microphone is muted. Okay, he can't hear.
Can you unmute me over there? I've tried to unmute myself here.
Oh,
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now. Yes, yes.
Elvis, a question. Yes, I would say you need some form of certification from NIMASA to render HVAC and electrical services. We have a particular department in NIMASA that is saddled with such responsibility. They call that the Maritime Safety and Seafarer Standard Department. So if you need further information on the particular certification you need, you may contact us through the organizer that will direct you further.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I think we have to stop there now. We are doing well for time. We want to finish at the appointed time, which is 11:55. So I thank the panelists for in-depth presentations, and I thank the attendees for thought-provoking questions, which have unveiled a lot of things. We have all learned a great deal. So it's now time for the rapporteur to give a quick summary of what has transpired this morning. She would eventually prepare a communique which will be sent to everyone, but you just have a quick summary. We'll have the vote of thanks, and the event would come to an end very quickly according to the time. Madam Rapporteur, please. We can't hear her.
Okay, thank you so much, everyone, for being here at this event. And it's been amazing. I've learned a lot, and I'm sure you have as well. So I'm just going to go through a quick summary of what it is that the different panelists have spoken on. Mrs. Sheye talked a lot about job creation. She talked about how shipbuilding and repair can create jobs for the industry and the economy. She highlighted the fact that it's labor intensive, but she also spoke about the fact that there are some challenges like the lack of technological leadership, high operating costs, imported raw materials, and economic instability, which sometimes plagues and affects investments in this sector. She spoke about the importance of synergizing with others in the industry, others involved in shipbuilding, so that we could improve technology and technological know-how. She spoke about including a shipbuilding curriculum in our colleges here. And then she said the shipbuilding skills are very, very specific. And it's important that we put that in our curriculum so that it's not just something theoretical, but people can actually learn those skills, graduate, and have something that they can add to the shipbuilding industry. So that's in summary what Mrs. Sheye spoke about. I'm going to move down to Henritha. Henritha talked about the large strides that the Namibian government has made in ship repair. She spoke about the fact that 65% of the shipyard where she's the MD is owned by the government. The government was intentional about creating this shipyard in 2006. Because of the fact that the government wants this project to be sustainable, since the creation of the yard, No dividends have been given to the shareholders, but everything that is benefited from that yard is plowed back into the business so that the business can grow. The business is people focused. They have sustainability on the front burner, employment. One of the key things that has made it successful, she said, is good relationship with the government and good relationship with regional governments. She said when there's a ship repair issue, the government, they are the first port of call for the government. She also spoke of the fact that Namibia is the fastest growing economy on the continent. And she said she would like an exchange program between Namibia and Nigeria, and that she felt that something like that would be very helpful. She highlighted the fact that 95% of the business is international. It brings about 1.5 billion into their economy. And that for every dollar that is spent, they make $3 more. In the long term, she said Namibia would like to go into shipbuilding, but currently they are only involved in ship repairs. Locally, they train welders, but they've also sent people to South Africa for training, which the government supports. Currently, there are talks in Namibia with the universities where they are looking to train people indigenously in this process. She's mindful of the fact that ship repairs and shipbuilding are two different skill sets, and that while in the short term, they're involved in ship repair, it doesn't stop them from having long-term projects or long-term goals where Namibia is also going to get involved in ship repair. So I move on to Commodore Igwe. He talked about the naval dockyard, which is involved in the area of shipbuilding, ship maintenance, and ship repair. He talked about domestication. That was a key part of his conversation, domestication of fabrication. He said that most of the fabrications are done domestically, if not all. He said the employees are a mixture of civilians and naval personnel. The dockyard has a training and apprentice school where they train technical staff. They have workshops where all the fabrication is done. They built, in his PowerPoint, he showed us some of the vessels that they had built. He showed us defense boats, houseboats, and a self-propelled barge. In terms of capacity building in local fabrication, he says that the naval dockyard is doing very well. All their fabrications are made locally. They fabricate pipes and different equipment. Their desire is to have an opportunity to construct a merchant vessel. When he was asked about the role that they play in disaster response, he said that they have the Navy has a disaster response unit that deals with that aspect of it. That is not under the mandate of the dockyard. So I move on to Vanessa Davidson. She spoke about the fact that the shipbuilding industry has been supported for the last 20 years by the Ministry of Trade and Industry. She stressed the fact that it's a long-term commitment and it takes maturity. It's not something that happens overnight. She talked about the fact that in South Africa, they have a special economic zone that offers tax reliefs for those that are involved in this business. The main goal of what they're doing is trying to unlock investment in energy. It is a greenfield port, and her role there is conducting a cost-benefit analysis at the Saldanha Bay. There's been a reduction in visiting oil rigs, which means that they've also shifted the focus more to marine services jetties, which they now see as a priority in the business. South African shipbuilding and repair enjoys a good relationship with the government agencies, and this has been pivotal to the success of the sector. They've also tried to equip and train younger talent because they've seen that they have a lot of aging workers. There's good an area where they need to do more is build seamless relationships between intergovernment agencies, because this was handled by the Defense before, Ministry of Defense before, but more recently, the budget has been cut down a bit more. So they will need to build more seamless intergovernment relationships. In terms of training, they offer both building technical certification. Initially, the program was a 3-year learning program, but with feedback in the industry, they've made it a 4-year learning program. And with further feedback, they've decided to make it a hands-on program where there is apprenticeship qualification in consultation with the industry. Vanessa is happy to share their curriculum with Nigeria, Namibia, and any other country here to help build the sector across Africa. We move on to Engineer Ogbuefon. He talked about the hostile environment which he felt Nigeria presented in the area of shipbuilding. He's of the view that there's no serious shipbuilding going on in Nigeria. Most of the vessels on our waters get their repairs outside Nigeria. And in 1998, he initiated a shipbuilding yard that was unable to take off for 10 years because of the environment. He sees Namibia as a case study that Nigeria can borrow a leaf from. He believes that the government can be more proactive at driving shipbuilding in Nigeria. Then I go to Mr. Adeshino Emmanuel of NIPC. It's interesting that Mr. Engineer Ogbuefon's discussion dovetailed into NIPC. Now, Mr. Adeshino Emmanuel was of a different view. He felt it wasn't all doom and gloom. He said NIPC has been creating employment, and also one of their goals is conservation of foreign exchange. He felt that government had done quite a bit in trying to make and enable the environment in terms of shipbuilding. He spoke about ways in which he felt the government had done things that will help create a good environment. And one of the things he spoke about was the cabotage compliance strategy. He also spoke about the Cabotage Vessel Financing Fund, which had been approved by the presidency for disbursement. He spoke about income tax reliefs that are available for 3 to 5 years for people that are interested in shipping. And he said that those are administered by NIPC. He took us through the statistics of the Presidential Enabling Business Environment Council, which has improved Nigeria's fortunes. He said a lot of people's perception that Nigeria is not a good business environment is just a perception, but is not necessarily the reality. So I move on to Engineer Ororo. Now, Engineer Ororo of the National Inland Waterways, he drew our attention to success stories of countries that have been involved in shipbuilding: South Korea, Singapore. He said littoral states, if they get the strategy right, get a lot of capital from shipbuilding. And he thinks that it's strategic for Nigeria to be a major player in shipbuilding. He talked about the fact that the NIWA had a key role to play, which they hadn't played so much in the regulation of shipyards and ship repairs. He talked about the fact that there was shipbuilding already going on in Nigeria. Well, not shipbuilding, but some level of boat building and barge building going on in the Niger Delta, which was largely unregulated, dumb barges and boats. He says there's no standard procedure and facilities for the building of those boats and barges, and that the regulators need to rise up to the task. He said, all shipyards and boat yards must register with NIWA in the future, and approvals for the build and surveyors in accordance with classifications must be looked closely at. He mentioned the fact that if Nigeria builds below standard, or these are not approved by classification societies, it will be counterproductive because the vessels will not meet international standards, and we will not be able to realize the gains that we should get from getting involved in this business. So regulation was a key thing. He stressed on the fact that NIWA's agenda is not to make money from people or just earn, lots of money from regulating this, but that it is in the interest of the industry that we get involved in something that is qualitative and meets global standards. He stressed the fact that NIWA had shown support in this area by building some ferries. He went down to memory lane and spoke of the time when Niger Dock was involved in building ferries, and that we need to go back to that tangent where Nigeria saw itself as involved in building vessels on some level. He said that cabotage and local content is an encouragement, but there's more that needs to be done. We need to invite investors and take it more seriously from a regulatory point of view. So I move on to Mr. Augustine Imomo of NIMASA. He spoke about indigenous ownership, manning. He spoke about the fact that NIMASA has some strategies that it felt will help shipbuilding, like encouraging joint ventures between companies that have capacity for this and local companies. He said NIMASA also encourages public-private partnerships to encourage shipbuilding. He was quick to point out that the purpose of the Maritime Vessel Financing Fund is not for shipbuilding. However, that's not the end of the story. There's a maritime fund set aside for the purpose of shipbuilding, which can be accessed by interested operators. A question came about the floating dockyard, which NIMASA had acquired. He said the floating dockyard was moved to the naval dockyard, and now it has been moved to an intercontinental shipyard, and that there are serious discussions about putting that to good use. He said the reason why NIMASA acquired this was to generate employment and build capacity in this area, and that the DG is involved in serious talks where this will actually eventually materialize. In terms of dry docking, he said part of the reason why they acquired this dockyard is that they found out that several vessels move to neighboring countries when they need repairs. So it became important for NIMASA to acquire that. He closed by saying that NIMASA is encouraging foreign partners very keen to see a PPP arrangement materialize with Nigerian companies. He specifically sent a message to the Namibian representative that Nigeria is keen to partner with them in terms of capacity building and exchange of knowledge. So this brings me to the end of the summary of what the panelists said. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Madam Rapporteur. In fact, I wondered how you were able to get that summary. Thank you very much. It's wonderful. Before I let you go, I'd just like to read a comment by Mr. Additional to correct something that was dictated. And he says, Madam, I did not disagree with Engineer Greg. I even made it clear that he was right and listed the challenges in the industry, stating efforts of government to address the challenges in agreement with Oluyede. The economic impacts I listed are what the industry should be, but not necessarily what it is currently.
Well, I'm really sorry. That must have been an oversight on my part.
We take that point, we'll correct it. Of course, you prepare tell them about the communique, you prepare the communique and we'll send it.
Okay, so we are going to prepare a communique capturing everything that has been discussed and the material that has been shared, and we will send that to you via email. So don't worry, we got a few requests, people asking for the slides and that sort of thing. We will share it with everyone. You'll get that. I'll start on that today. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I will now call on Madam Elizabeth Eli Esquire to give the vote of thanks and we'll close this meeting. Madam Eli, please. No. No, I can't hear you. You should come down.
Hello, can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. We believe it's been a rewarding session so far. And we believe everyone, sorry, there's an echo in the background. Okay, now the echo is off. So we believe everyone has gained something substantial from these sessions, and it's been a rewarding session so far. Please kindly help us fill the survey forms that will be sent to you after the event. Please, we would love to have your feedbacks, your suggestions, and your contributions. You know, as we grow with this event, we want to get better. So kindly help us fill the survey forms. And we want to say a big thank you to our sponsors. They helped us achieve this project. Thank you very much. Our sponsors, Niger Benway Transport Company, thank you very much. Stars Marine and Engineering Limited, thank you very much. Naval Dockyard Limited, thank you very much. And Fitzwilliams, thank you very much. And to our panelists, we want to appreciate you. Thank you for honoring our invitation. You made out time from your busy schedule to come share with us your in-depth wealth of knowledge. We are appreciative of your contributions. Thank you for the awesome presentations, the great plenary sessions. I'm sure so many persons have learned one or two things, and we are grateful that you honored our invitation. And to our attendees, thank you also for attending, because without you, these sessions would not have been completed. Thank you for the interactive sessions. Thank you for your questions. And we want to inform you that there are other maritime events in the pipeline. We would communicate the details of these events to you, as usual, through our communication channels. And also our flagship event, the Lagos International Maritime Week. It's in preparation, and we would let you know when it's time. I think it's coming up in September. So we would let you know details concerning this event. So from us, it's a wrap, and we are grateful for everyone's presence, your attendance, your contributions. So have a blessed day. Thank you.
Thank you very much. The event is over. We're greatly honored to.
Well done. Well done, well done, well done.
We're greatly honored. So you can, for attendees, they can put up their. Yes, so everybody has been promoted to panelists, so attendees can put on their videos and talk to people that they want to talk to. It's been an enjoyable time. Madam Lead Panelist, Focal Point, thank you very much for a detailed presentation. And of course, we are very, very happy to be able to send all of these presentations to everyone who have participated at this event. And in going forward, because what we do at Zoe Maritime, we take a subject in the maritime industry that we think is topical, or we think that needs some in-depth discussion, and we discuss it. So if you have anything in mind that you think that we ought to be discussing, we're happy to receive your suggestions and your subjects for discussion at any of our business roundtables. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. More grease to your elbow.
Bye.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kashimana, and of course all the people from Namibia and
Thank you very much.
Bangladesh. Yes, thank you very much, and Vanessa from South Africa. It's been exciting, and people joined from Bangladesh. Captain Farouk, thank you very much for attending, and all the way from Finland, Captain Heki. It's wonderful. That's the beauty of having a webinar, because you can have people from all over the world participate, exchange knowledge, and we are honored to have Bola and Elias Chambers participate at this event. We are greatly honored, Bola and Elias and co. And Business France, Aduni Oluibukun, thank you very much for participating.
Thank you and goodbye.
Thank you, Sonic. Thank you, Henrietta. Lovely. So we shall be talking. So bye-bye. I'm going to close this place now.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
You can network. The portal will be open for the next 30 minutes for networking purposes. So if you have anybody you want to talk to, please network. Thank you so much for attending this event. Thank you.
Okay. So Kashima is still here. Will Kashima show?
Yeah, sure.
She can show? Yeah. Okay. Kashima.
Yes, please.
We're going to take a picture. So I understand you can stay there, and then we'll all take a picture.
Really? A virtual picture?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, come now, you guys, the Zoe team. Wale. So how is it done?
I will all start near you, and we're just going to take care.
Okay. Sorry. Hey, another fancy canvas. Now, wow, it's Elijah, fashion icon.
You're not sure.
Elijah, you're not showing your face.
Okay, wait, let's close your chat.
Still live. We're still live now. We're supposed to be live, okay?
So the first thing.
This picture sense.
Yes. Yeah. So I think someone needs to stay close there, and I just stay close to where.
Okay, see the Mr. Yang.
Yeah, so Mr. Wale. You can't talk. Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. So, just we're going from the video. We're going to take a snapshot. No, from the video, we're going to take a snapshot. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank you.
Okay. Participants are still here. Kashima, thank you so much. You did such an excellent job.
Thank you very much, Ma.
Really wonderful. Really wonderful. Thank you so much. I'm so honored.
Thank you.
It's lovely.
Am I allowed to go now?
Yes, you can go now. You can.
All right then. All right then. Have a nice day.
Okay, you too. You too.
All right. Bye.
Tomorrow at the meeting. NMLA meeting is tomorrow.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Okay.
All
Bye-bye.
right.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thanks. So leave. I'm leaving as well. Yeah, okay. I can.
you.